paparazzi fine ass.
You're playing touch butt with that dork in the park, the ponytail. And I'm the one who ain't got no training partner? I don't think so. You seem to have it all figured out when we're fighting midgets.
60 G's, But I'm not impressed by your performance.
I'll tell you what, bro. I was out there, I was fighting all the hitters, bro. We ain't fought no hitters.
It's normal. Come on, guys. It's normal.
So if I was you, I hope to God you come ready. Because if you don't, I can beat you with the death.
They do nothing.
Oh, y'all got carrot cakes and stuff up there? Shit. Oh, y'all got pecan pie in this motherfucker? Shit.
What's going on, Fight Week Show fans, Fight Week Show people? Then we are back with another episode of Dust Up Shakedown, episode 31, by the way. And helping me do that, we got some guests on the show, and we got our regulars back here as well. But let me introduce the guests first. First, we got ChiChi in the house. How you doing, ChiChi?
I'm good. Thank you for having me, guys. Thank you so much. I'm so excited.
Yeah, man. Salute to you, man. Thank you very much for joining us. And next in the house, we got a man like Big Shad Nsua. Salute to you for joining us. EFC 185er. How you doing, my brother?
Nah, I'm all good. Hope you guys are good as well.
Yeah, man. Welcome to the show. And we got Jordain, Big Jordain. Jordain, salute to you, my bro. Big up yourself. I know 297 is still a little bit sore. While we got some joy to go with it, but we're going to be delving into that. How you doing, my bro?
I'm still repping my boy, man. I'm still repping my boy. Yeah, I mean, I was sad for about 15 minutes on that watch along, but we're getting there, mate. We're getting there.
Yeah, man. I know it's a little bit sore, man, but we'll delve into it a little bit later. And last but not the least, we got my brother over here, Jordain. Jordain, big up yourself. How you doing? Good?
Good week, man. MMA seems to be on fire right now. It's a shame we've got 2 weeks off UFC action, but plenty to sort of keep us entertained with fights been announced and stuff to keep us going in the meantime. So yeah. Look,
it's been a big weekend. Me and Jordain, we actually did a watch along, watching what was going on UFC 297, and I'm gonna let me come to ChiChi first, right?
Okay.
You saw what happened on the show because I was on there with Jordain, but I wanted to get your take on the actual main event of the evening between Dricus and Strickland. Some people's been saying it's a robbery. Some people have been saying, Strickland won. Some people say Dricus won. But I wanted to get your take on how you saw the fight, whether you was nervous from the first round, all of that good stuff. Give us it. Let us have it.
I was excited for the fight because either way it was history for the South African nation and for the African continent. Yeah. So with regards to the actual fight, I feel like both men went in very, very confident. Leading up in the fight week, even like they both seemed very, very confident, and they were actually being a lot more cordial than I expected, right? And then like once they got in there, I thought Dricus won, right? I know a lot of people are saying that he didn't win, or that at least Sean Strickland won at least 3 of the rounds, but I feel like Dricus is the one that had 3 rounds at least. But yeah, that's what I thought. I just enjoyed the match. I was nervous, but I was happy and I was excited. And I think the right person walked away with the title, quite frankly.
Yeah. It was a good fight. It was a really, really good fight, good build up to it and all of that. But Big Shad, from somebody that's come from your organization of fighting in EFC, right? Is fought in your division, vacated the division, but the trailblazing that he's brought to not just to EFC, but the people that want to do well in your division as well. How much does seeing something like what Dricus did motivate, everybody in your gym, all of South Africa really, and the celebration that's also going on in South Africa right now? Give us, the mood of everybody, what everybody is drawing from this particular win in your own space?
Look, he inspired a lot of people. He brought hope to a lot of people's hearts now, because it's he made it seem, not really seem, but he made it look in the way of everybody already understanding the fact that with hard work and belief, you can get in there, and knowing that in the back of your head and behind your own heart, that you're capable of doing something such as becoming a world champion. So having him in the soil and being alive in the area of having such a man accomplishing we looked at it as a monumental accomplishment, but now he made it possible for each and every one of us, knowing that there is a way. And obviously he brought attention into the circle where Dana White now has start looking and recognizing the talents that coming out of SA or Africa as well, and on its own. So it's a positive for each and every up and coming athletes and a prodigy, I say, that's looking up to going into the world and conquering the world. It doesn't matter where you come from. With hard work, it's definitely possible.
100%. Jordan, you saw the build up. I mean, we were making cases left and right, some for Strickland. I even got Jordain to make a stick for Strickland, and for Dricus. But from your point of view, and watching that fight, did you think Dricus had won it, or did you think maybe Sean, because it was a close fight? And I'm going to come to Jordain in a minute, because I wanted to bring something up with Jordain. But with yourself, it's a close fight. But how did you score it, and who did you think ultimately did enough to win, maybe to retain or be announced as new?
Yes, I think the fight, watching it live, obviously we have access to less information on what's going on. But I thought it looked like a Dricus win. I thought maybe Strickland won in 5. And the 3 middle rounds went to Dricus. Like the cut, I thought that was initially done by an elbow. It now has came out that it was done by a headbutt, but we didn't know that in the moment. So, I mean, I think looking back on it, maybe going over stats and stuff, Strickland might have a better case. But I think watching it live, it looked apparent that Dricus had won the middle 3 rounds. So I had him win it. The disappointing thing is that Dana's came out and says he's got no interest in an immediate rematch. Which, I mean, I don't know about everybody else, but it makes perfect sense to me. I know that he once had the Sanya in Africa, but that fight was about as close as you can get for a title fight. I think that those 2 guys right now are the 2 that deserve to fight for it. So, yeah, I think if it had went either way, no one could have moaned too much. I don't think it was a robbery either way. The rightful guy probably won in the night.
Right. I mean, McDane, I've seen Chelsonen come out and said it for Dricus won all 5 rounds. I was some of what he's smoking. You know what I mean? I don't even think Dricus for he won all 5 rounds. But Chelsonen came out and said, yeah, he thought Strickland lost every round. And if he was going to be generous, maybe he'd go for 1 and just give Strickland the first round. And he thought Dricus won the rest of the rounds. And to be fair, Dean Thomas has come out and said just about the same thing. And for, you know what, at least Dricus won 4 of them rounds. And maybe he'll give the 1 round to Dricus. But we was watching it. And that's not how we came across. Especially big up Shahid. Shahid was going nuts. He was losing his shit. All this penny shit. He was going mad, if you remember back then. But good reaction overall. But what was your take on what Chelsea and Dean Thomas said there based on what you saw?
So first, shout out to Shahid, man. That man brings the energy here. I mean, he was feeling it. He was backing his boy 100%. So a big shout out to Shahid there. As for Kale, Uncle Kale's being Uncle Kale, isn't he? Yeah, I mean, he's just being the man with a plan. That's all he's doing. He's just trying to instigate it. That jab was lethal from Strickland in that first round. Like even Dricker said himself, he was on the Anectorium podcast. He said it hit like hammer fist, and he said it's not like it was that fast. You could see it coming. He was like, but it was just there constantly, consistently, boom, 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 and he was just like, I couldn't even work around it. He was like, there's nothing that I could do, but. As we said on the night, like Sean has that awkward fighting style. Everybody says that when they get in there with him. Like he looks like he's just a jab, straight up dude that'll just walk you down. But once you're in there with him, it's weird. Like trying to find the range, trying to work around that jab, and trying to work with the Philly shell that he has. You know what I mean? So I'm with Jord on the 2, 3, and 4. Went back and watched it again. I gave Strickland the first. You could maybe even lean Drickers to having the 5th round as well, depending on how you want to score it. You know what I mean? But it was what like George said, and like everyone else says, it was just one of those really, really close fights. Like the 5th round could have gone either way to either man. I think it went to the right person. And again, you can't call it a robbery if it went either way either. I think a rematch is something that they should be putting in the pipeline. I get it, like George said there as well. The Izzy fight, that's all lined up. The video that was shared into the group before, does that kind of squash some of the beef from Izzy's side as well? You know what I mean? Where he's saying big respect, 4th champion from Africa. You know what I mean? So does it take away some of the storyline that they've got behind that? Is it going to stop people being as interested? But I'd like to see them run it back, because I think Drickus absolutely steamrolls him in a second fight because he knows him now. You know what I mean? Sean's got a one trick pony kind of guy. Like there's no way of going around it, I don't think. And unless he implements something else into his game, I don't think it's going to go very well for him. And I think he probably might not win that first round going back in there against Drickus. I think he knows the game plan. He knows to take him down. And I think he just needs to do a bit more damage on the ground.
The thing with Sean as well. Sorry, the thing with Sean as well. And I was gonna ask you this, Big Shad. I was gonna ask you this, yeah. The thing with Sean, people are asking him, why don't you use your wrestling more? You've got a wrestling background. You've got that in your toolbox, but he rarely uses it. As a fighter yourself, that you know you have this weapon in your toolbox, but you don't use it. But in a situation where you have to protect your championship, and you still have that weapon there, and Dricus is actually using it more than you could see that he kind of used it to get out of the situation, but he didn't use it offensively. What did you take out of that situation there?
Like for me, the way I kind of looked at it as well is when you're in a cage, it's activities matter as well. In a way of cage control, aggression, it's mentioned. It's very important. It doesn't matter how much strike am I throwing or how much am I landing, but I'm moving backward and I'm being controlled. And at the same time, the guy that's moving me backward is looking way more busy than me. So in a judge's eyes, that completely looks different in a way. And for me, I just feel like Strickland is a very stubborn fighter. He's very stubborn. He's a type of fighter. I feel like he wants to stick to one thing. It's very difficult to get him to kind of mix everything all together, because in the first round he kept Drickus very long with a T kick, and keeping him with the T kick and checking his kicks and just making sure that he was staying long. And for me, if he could mix everything, was keeping Ashley well off the range. If he could mix up the wrestling, that would have created a bit of more problem, because now Drake is gonna put the wrestling on the second, third round, knowing the fact that Sean Strickland was not engaging it, and that's what kind of makes us in experienced sport way that I'm talking. If I get taken down 5 times and I get up 5 times, it doesn't matter how easy it is that I'm getting up, I will get tired, because wrestling is draining. And that plays in your mind as well. I'm being taken off. I've been taken down 5 times. I'm getting up 5 times. And that's like, why is this guy not stopping? You understand? And irregardless of not damaging the guy, because obviously as you take the guy down, you need to take the opportunity of control and damage. But regardless of you not damaging the guy, the judges kind of look at it in the way of, hey, he took the guy down. Yeah, and I watched a podcast of what's his name? He's the god, man. He's Dimitri Johnson. Yes, I watched his podcast. I think it was yesterday. He spoke up puzzle that drinkers had to, just piece together, which was wrestling, a simple takedown that changed the effect, the game for the change the whole fight for him. Him just moving forward and looking more aggressive and looking more busy than Strickland, because if you look at those judges and ask them a question, they'll tell you the mere factor why they didn't judge, they didn't give Strickland a lot of points is because he was jabbing a lot and there wasn't a lot of numbers within his punch. There was not follow-ups with the punches. So he wasn't looking as busy as Dricus, even though Dricus was throwing a lot of haymakers and overhands and stuff. For me, I felt it was, a bit more not too clinical for him, but he was just way busy. He was the busier man in the cage, and he worked way more than Strickland for me. So that's why I kind of gave it to him as well in a way, because I was like he was working. He outworked Strickland in a way.
ChiChi, how has the mood been over there for the whole country? I heard there's gonna be a national holiday in February because of this.
Yeah.
I heard something about this from the grapevine.
Yeah.
Tell me what's
Shadwick
going on in
knows
South
what's
Africa.
Shadwick knows what's up this side. Every time anything major happens for the country, we demand a public holiday from our president every single time. So it was a vibe. Even on the day, people were already drunk at 10 a.m. because of drinkers. So it was just a vibe. It's just been a vibe. And I feel like on Twitter it's kind of died down a bit now. But here in the country, every time we see each other, we're like, yeah, drinkers, type of vibe. It's just we're living our best life and we're waiting for that holiday. Hey, we're waiting for it. But yeah, like Shadwick said, it's definitely like a game changer. I'm seeing a lot of the fighters are very excited and they're feeling very hyped up and they're feeling a lot more motivated, because this is kind of not only big for drinkers, it's big for African fighters who are hoping to get to the UFC. So yeah, it's just been great in the combat sports world. Yeah.
100%. I'm so ecstatic for all you guys out there. Everybody's got some meme, everybody's got some post, everybody's got some kind of memory. Everybody that's affiliated, that's connected to this, congratulations to all of you, man, because Jordain actually hit the nail on the head when you said this on the watch along, that what this is going to mean for Dricus and South Africa is way bigger than what it would mean for Strickland if he won it. This is something that that's brought the whole country together, and probably maybe even more than the Springboks, because the Springboks has won the World Cup quite a few times, but this is the first UFC gold on South African soil. There you go, 4. So this is the first UFC gold. So this one means a lot to everybody out there, and everybody that's now got to fight in and around this period. They all want to go out and make South Africa proud. I see Little Giant Bokang, he's got one fight in one championship, and that's about to go down, and everybody is shouting him out. So big up Little Giant over there in South Africa. He trains with Don Madge, I believe, a big fighter out there over there in South Africa. Okay, let me shift gears a little bit. We've seen, soon as the fight's done, Khamzat Chimaev pops out of the woodwork like he always does. And he says, I deserve the title shots against Dricus du Plessis. Jordan, I see you shaking your head over there, bro. What are you making of all this craziness? What's happening in the 185 division right now?
I mean, in 185, he's never better fighter in the top 15, has he? Like, I don't get, like, a win over a 170 pounder that didn't cut weight doesn't put you in contention. Like, I get like Hamzat is a fighter that I want to see fight again. I really do enjoy him. I think he's exciting. But no, at 170 he'd have a better sort of claim to a title shot than he would anywhere near 185. There's a long list of people ahead of him. But yeah, I guess it's fun. I wish you'd just sort of sign up for a fight. But, you know, he's called it every person that's won a fight, like in a title fight in the past year, 2 years. So, yeah, I'm not taking too much notice of it. I'll reserve my judgment to the end of the year and see if he actually fights again.
Jordain, he's claiming UFC 300. We know he had a surgery after, you know, the fight with Kamaru Usman that you said it was going to walk right through him. It didn't turn out like that. It was a I'm still sorry about my £20, bro.
I was about to say, who won 20 quid, mate? Who won 20 quid at the end of that fight?
I'm still hurting about my £20, you know what I mean? But we see Hamza, obviously, he's taking a few fights, right? But never something that really affects the division. All right, at 170, like Jordan said, but at 185, there's no real activity over there for him. He knocked out Jeremiah Shah, who was unranked. So what really has he really done at 185 to be demanding such a claim other than his name? And, you know, that's it really. He built up a hype around his name. Please tell me, like, I don't get it. But
short answer is nothing. And then, sorry to just jump onto the end of that, but the short answer is nothing. Like, what has he done? Anybody you want to point anything out? Because you can't. You know what I mean? So yeah, he jumped in there against Usman. You look at his previous fights against Gilbert Burns. When he starts getting taken into those deep waters, like Dricus can go 5 rounds. If Dricus plays that first round out, Hamzat gasses himself trying to take the man down and trying to sub him, trying to ground and pound him, which Dricus is going to probably be able to survive. He'll get back to his feet, take him into the deep waters in the later rounds, and Dricus is going to take that fight, hands down. You know what I mean? Like, there's no other answer about that. There's no other way around it. That's just exactly how it will go.
Thank you for admitting live that if Usman had 2 more rounds, it might have just gotten that sad.
It would have been, mate. I'd have been 20 quid. I'd have been 20 quid short if Usman had 2 more rounds in that fight. Like,
no.
He would have been Neil Magny of the fight night. That would have been it.
Remember, that was Usman at 185, who did his first ever fight there. I don't know. I don't think his frame fits 185 that well. It's putting on 15 pounds of like. You have to put on some muscle. You can't put on 15 pounds of fat and go into 185. So, that discredits Hamzat even more.
From what Hamzat is saying here, I'm just going to read a quote that he said to ESPN. He said, "I heard Dana White say earlier, I don't think Hamzat is next for the title. Thank you, Dana." Right? And then it says, Hamzat explained, who else is going to fight him? Israel is out till 2027. All of these guys have fought each other. It's only me who's undefeated and undisputed. I don't know, but they promised me after the Usman fight that I will for sure fight for the title if I win that fight. And I won that fight. I don't know what's going on. That was his quote.
I think, if I can say something on that, I think that came in with a bit of condition on how convincingly he should have won that fight. And him getting injured after the fight kind of put him out of the title contentionship. So for me, I just thought it'd be really nice for him to fight Strickland and prove himself. Yeah, because Strickland is the type of fighter that'll put you under pressure as well. So since he likes striking, he mixes up well. And I would say, like, look, put him against Strickland, and if he beats Strickland, then you can stand a chance of fighting, maybe getting a title shot after that.
Right. I mean, I'm going to stick with you. What do you think is next for Dricus now? Like, when you look at how open the division is, what in your eyes, say you're in Dricus' shoe, who what's the next fight? What fight should he take? Looking at the division, we got Paulo Costa there. We got
Yeah, Marvin
Robert Whittaker.
Vittori,
I mean,
Whittaker.
Whittaker. Yeah, he's got Vittori. You know, we got Cannonier, Jared Cannonier there, and even
Brendan
Izzy,
Howard.
at least in the top 5.
Like for me, I feel like since he's a champion right now, the fight that is going to make sense for him is a money fight, and is a fight that will make sense for him. It has to be a big fight, and we all know it's Adesanya. He has to bring Adesanya back earlier before 2020, 2027. For somehow I checked Adesanya's back to training, and he's hinting on a bit of aromats there on his story posted South African spices. I'm like, oh wait, that's actually nice. I like that. So the fight that makes sense for me, it will definitely have to be Adesanya, because right now, especially in 185, it's not the busiest division. It will be really nice to get it very busy, like you say. Like there's like Whittaker, the last fight he fought was Dricus, and he hasn't fought ever since. So it's not as busy, and they can't just line up for him, because obviously, like the guys we mentioned, each of them at least need a fight before they can get to a title contention. So they can't just jump over there. So I feel for me, Dricus need more of a fight that he needs to sell, because I'm sure with the last fight, the way it went, if they can have a fight that will sell more like Dricus and him, it's going to be a very big fight. And that is going to give him more confidence. That's going to give him more, it's going to put a lot of spotlight in between, and it's going to be a headline. It's going to be a banger. So for me, I feel like Dricus has got a big job of bringing Adesanya back, or trying to provoke him so much that Adesanya should be like, okay, I need to get back as soon as possible. We shouldn't be waiting for 2027. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fight that most people want to see. What about you, ChiChi? When you look at because Poatan, Alex Pereira, 205 champion, he kind of called out Dricus. I said, oh, maybe I should have one last rodeo at 185. And Dricus said to him, I dare you. What do you say to that?
Alex is a pot stirrer. He is. Like, he really is. He knows what he's doing. Because, obviously there are some of us who are like, oh, we forgot about you for a second, but you could become double champ by, coming back down. But I agree with Blambee. Definitely, I think the fight that we need to have is the Dricus versus Israel Adesanya fight. The story writes itself. It's literally right there. And, maybe I am being a bit biased because, I do want them to come here to the African continent. And I feel like if there's a fight that is going to bring the UFC here, it's that fight. So, yeah, that's the one that I think is next. Adesanya.
Right. McDane, we've seen the whole, like you said, we shared in the WhatsApp group. And whilst this easy fight is probably the biggest fight, talking about revenue wise for Dricus's bank account, going by Kobe's phrase, let's make your bank account great again. You know what I mean? Let's make that bank account great again. Right? That probably is probably the best fight, but Poatan is not far from it on a champ situation. I don't know if he'll be putting his 205 belt up, but he'll be coming after Dricus's belt. So we'll unless both of them is putting something up, I don't know if that's something that Dricus really benefits from. You know what I mean? Maybe Poatan would, but going the other side, I don't think Dricus will benefit from it. But what do you make of the trio? Or even you can throw Leon Edwards in there. He even said, if I beat Kobe, I want to go up and fight the winner of Dricus and Strickland. There's a lot of fights here for him that could potentially lead to a super fight.
So let's put Leon Edwards to the side for a minute, and we can start off with we'll start off with Alex Pereira. So interesting fight. So if they did that at 185, Dricus wins and retains. Dricus, like you said, did mention that he would like to move up and go for that light heavyweight. That would score even more pay-per-view points. He would get even more pay-per-view points for the first one because it'd be champ versus champ for middleweight, and it'd be champ versus champ for the light heavyweight as well. But we've also had Alex Pereira invite Izzy back to say, come to light heavyweight and let's have a fight here as well, trying to get his ass off the couch and back into the octagon too. You know what I mean? He's trying to return the favor of what he done for him when he got him out of the bar and back into his career and actually kickstarted it again. You know what I mean? So there's many opportunities there for champ, previous champ, and money to be made. And just on the back of what we were talking about, Hamzat, even though none of us believe he deserves the title shot, he puts bums in seats and he makes that money. You know what I mean? Anytime there's anything to do with Hamzat, you can see the views go up, you can see the numbers are going up. You know what I mean? So that fight would make him some money, as long as it's not done in what you call it, in an Arab state somewhere, because the taxes are pretty high. You know what I mean? He'd probably see some money from that. That'd be the only thing. But yeah, Alex Pereira, interesting matchup, middleweight and light heavyweight. It'd be interesting. Other than that, like you mentioned, Paulo Costa, he give him a shout out. Does he deserve it? No, but it would be an entertaining fight to watch. Would it make him as much money? Probably not. Costa would probably pull out quite close to the fight too. And Leon had just stating facts. You know what I mean? I like Paulo Costa as well. He's a funny guy, like, and he's entertaining in the ring. But yeah, Leon Edwards, not interested, if I'm honest with you. Right, I think he needs to defend the belt a couple more times. Yeah, you defended it against Usman, you defended it against Colby. What gives you the right to be shouting up towards middleweight champ status now? It just seems this champ status is the new thing that everybody wants. It's like the bike at Christmas that your best mate got, but you wanted it too. You know what I mean? So everybody wants to go and get it.
Yeah, I mean it's like the new crack. You know, for all these fighters, they all want 2 belts, they want 3 belts, they want it all. And they're prize fighters, so I don't blame them. They are prize fighters. I couldn't do what they do. So shout out to all of them. Jordan, let me come to you on this. I mean, we've heard Dana say it. If Dricus wins, we definitely go in South Africa. This is just before the fight. He made the announcement in the war room. And he said, if Dricus wins, he didn't even say we're going to Africa. He said we're going to South Africa. Verbatim, that's what come out. Because look, every time I hear Dana says things, I say Dana says a lot of things. You know, you don't mean he's gonna do them. But do you think he's actually gonna really put this one into consideration and put it into motion and maybe it'll materialize?
I think Dana thinks he's gonna do it. At the moment, I don't know what the logistics are over in South Africa as far as a capacity. UFC only do arenas really over like 16,000 at the minute if they're doing pay-per-views. It's like he said things like this about China before, and sort of got to it and then found too many hurdles and failed. But with this one, he really does seem passionate about the idea of having sort of Dricus defend probably against Izzy in South Africa. So I think he's got the best intentions and is planning on trying to make it happen. Whether it'll be one of those ones where... do you know what the best thing to do is? Just watch the UFC roster watch guy, and if they start sending a bunch of South African fighters, you know what's coming next. It's the only way to judge it at the minute.
Very true.
Yeah, I mean, look, I look at it and you know, Big Shad, you fight within the infrastructure of MMA in South Africa, and you know the ins and outs of the whole promotion. Do you think EFC or the infrastructure that MMA has in South Africa is ready to host a promotion like the UFC in Africa, at least more than some of the other countries in and around Africa that could probably do it? Do you think South Africa is the most acute based on your experience?
Look, like for us, if I can put it in this way, Dricus has opened up a lot of eyes. Is it's made, he's made a lot of people realize that, because in South Africa the biggest sport is rugby, soccer, and cricket. So he obviously made it realize to everybody that we got more. That we can go far with also martial arts as well. And I'm glad that when he was in Toronto, he wasn't there alone. The EFC's board of directors were all there with him, so they saw everything they needed to see. And fingers crossed, they replicate and try to do out of their best of ability to be to try and emulate a bit more of like a UFC vibe in a way. But in terms of like you said, like the levels, I think obviously when you get to that the level above the UFC, you get to realize that now there's that big stage, there's the big lights, there's the big crowd and stuff. And for me, I feel we're still developing, we're still growing, and per se, obviously, have the UFC coming down to Africa or say it's bring about a lot more peace in growth, in terms of growth, because that's going to actually speed up the process vastly, because you've got infrastructure like your USCPI, where you got open facility and training, which kind of EFC doesn't have at the moment. So it's going to be very nice, because why? Then you got infrastructure, you got a useful tools that everybody can use, and that builds a lot of character. It boosts a lot of confidence into other people as well, and then seeing and wanting to get involved. So that grows the sport on its own. I would say in terms of growth, we're looking good. In terms of infrastructure, we're a bit short. It looks like we're heading on the right direction. I feel like the EFC is gonna grow. It used to be a really big organization. COVID happened and COVID did the worst to it, but obviously it's heading back. I feel like it's heading back to the right direction. And with UFC, I don't want to say threatening, but with UFC promising to come to Africa, which we believe and hope, fingers crossed, it's gonna help the EFC even grow further than where it is right now. So I'm really looking forward to that in the next 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah, man, 100%, and well said there, Shad. I want to come to the co-main event, because there was also a title fight on the card, although maybe not as big as the Dricus and Strickland build up, but we do have Raquel Pennington and Bueno Silva had a fight, and the build up to that with the whole trash talk. I'm going to come to you on this one, ChiChi. The whole trash talk from Bueno Silva talking to Raquel Pennington about every single fight that she's seen her have. She's fallen asleep. But we had a title fight, and we have a new bantamweight champion. What's your take on all of that?
So first of all, I did watch that pre-event press conference, right? And I knew the fight was happening, right? But I was kind of like hyper focused on the Dricus and Sean Strickland fight. But the press conference, I was just like, oh, okay, these ladies are like, going at it, because I think they had the most heated exchange at that press conference. So they really made me pay attention, and I think they made a lot of other people also pay attention. The fight, okay, I'll say that I feel like I expected a little bit more from them, right? But also another thing that I realized as I was watching that fight is that I really, really am starting to feel the vacuum of Amanda Nunes no longer being in the women's division. I'm starting to feel it because I don't know. There's just like something missing with the women's divisions. But Like you said, it is a great thing. Raquel Pennington has been working towards that championship for a while now, and she finally gets it. So it's totally great, and I'm here for it. A new women's bantamweight champion is crowned because I'm not a fan of vacant championships. So yeah, I'm here for it. But yeah,
Jordan, Raquel's called out. She's called out Juliana Pena, and if there's someone that knows at least how to build up a fight, maybe not the fight in itself looking spectacular, but at least building up a fight. Juliana Pena she's not a bad one to draw eyes to a women's title fight for Raquel Pennington. What do you think to that?
I don't know. I guess I'm a bit of a sort of spoiled sport in this one, isn't I didn't think it was a great fight, and I don't think it was it sort of shows where we're at 135 in the women's divisions, where it was people that were top 5 and not really ever going to be champion during the division's heyday are now the top of the division. You go even like Ronda Rousey, Holly Holm, Miesha Tate, Amanda Nunes. It feels as though we're sort of in a period of stagnation where we're waiting on the next big thing at 135. Like Raquel Pennington is a good fighter, but I don't think anyone would ever look at her and say that's a great fighter. That's the best in the world. I think Kayla Harrison's just signed, which is interesting. I don't know how she's going to make 135, but yeah, if she manages it, she could be a problem, very much like the new Ronda Rousey. Juliana Pena, she's another one that was like, she sort of picks up the scraps of the division. She sort of took advantage of Amanda not being at her best. Not overly excited about Raquel Pennington's title run, if I'm being honest with you, or the prospect of Juliana Pena winning the title back.
I remember. You see when Raquel won, I just remember the prediction show. How you goaded me back to go and pick Raquel Pennington. I thought about you, bro. I'm like, oh, Jordan, this one's for you, bro.
Yeah, I mean, Silva looked so convincing during that press conference. I thought she was coming out to get like a first round knockout, and then I'm sitting there in the 4th round trying to stay awake so I can watch the Dricus fight.
Yeah, man, that fight there was I don't want to call it what I was. You know what? It was ass. It was ass. I mean, the way she fought, anyways, like it was. She kept trying to do the same thing over and over again, like trying to take her back. Like I was thinking to myself, like, come on, Sylvan, surely you got something else in the toolbox that you can use. And yeah, Raquel just punished her with the jabs, man. It was crazy. It was crazy. McDane, Cyborg must have been sitting down watching that. Amanda Nunes in the crowd watching that. And Cyborg is conscious, just like, you know what? If this is what they're going to serve the fans in the women's division, both of us might as well come out of retirement. And let's put one last show of real women fighter for the fans. Do you want to see it? I'd watch that. Sign me up for that.
I'd watch it, mate. Yeah, I mean, bang it on UFC 300. I'll watch that shit. I'm going to watch UFC 300 anyway, so why the fuck not? You know what I mean? Like, just bang it on there and let's see what happens. But yeah, obviously I picked Bueno Silva, man, and what she's lying on the floor for the last 30 seconds with her legs in the air, like she's just finished a night out. Like, come on, girl, what you doing? Get up. Like, it was wild. I was just like, what is going on here? Like, I swear to the fight started off so well too, but Raquel Pennington, like, defended the hands. You know what I mean? She was hand fighting constantly. That she just wasn't allowing her to get the chokes in. Like, she was taking a little bit of it across the face, but other than that, she persevered. You know what I mean? She come through it, fought through the storm, and got to the end and done what she had to do to get the win. You know what I mean? It was just another Raquel Pennington 5-round lay and pray, and let's just get there. You know what I mean? That was it. But yeah, Cyborg, Nunes, bring it on. You know what I mean? As far as Pena goes, not interested. That's another 5-round boring ass fight. And I love women's MMA. I'm like one of the biggest advocates for it. I say it all the time. I don't get why people don't like women's MMA. These chicks bang. Like, I say it all the time. Like, But now I'm not interested in that fight. Pena can just keep on
How,
strolling. What was it she came out with?
how
Go on, bro.
Second, that was, for me, felt like Dana White was not happy with the fight either.
He wasn't.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't. He definitely wasn't.
He wasn't happy with many of those fights on that night. You seen him in that press conference here. What miserable man! It was like somebody who just killed his dog, sitting there with a sour face.
Yeah, man. You know that's the thing. That's the thing with Dana as well. Like it will make it known if a card didn't really move. Didn't really move accordingly, and people didn't really, go out for the kill. But I thought there was a lot of there's some really close fights there. Let's talk about your boy Jordain, right? I'm gonna come to you first, then I'll go around the table. Arnold Allen with Evloev. I thought that was a really good fight.
Banging fight.
And Arnold did so many good things in that fight. And I just feel like if we were fighting Evloev with that sort of performance, he gets his hands raised. Especially, when he had it up, on the canvas with one hand on the canvas, so everything was doing there was legal. My man took about three good knees to the head and busted his head open. Like, what did you make of the whole fight? And we've heard from Alan, but by your account, how is he doing? And what's next for him? What do you think's next for him?
I mean, he's good. He's in good spirits, man. You know what I mean? He's like, it is what it is, and we can move on and we can keep going. He's a warrior at heart. But let's go and dive into that fight, right? So I gave him no bias here. You know what I mean? As much as he's my boy, but rounds 1 and 3, I would give to Arnold Allen. As Shad pointed out before, he was the most active fighter in that fight. You know what I mean? Whether he was pushing forward or he was pushing back, activity counts. And when he was getting taken down, scrambles, Gambie rolls, all of it, he was getting straight back up to his feet. They look at the damage on the ground, they look at submission threats on the ground. There was none of that from Evloev. So how can you even you might have had the takedowns, you might have ragdolled him a little bit a couple of times where you were really, really going for it. But how can you score that for him? You can't. When Arnold was getting straight back to his feet, landing the body shots that he kept getting, that was money. I even said it on the live stream as well. So those body shots are money. He's been landing them all night. You know what I mean? And he was out striking him. I thought, there was a couple of rounds where I think he might have been outstruck, but the more damaging shots were coming from Arnold, and you could see that as well when he landed on Evloev. As for the knees, right? So this is a whole nother bag of money, tricks on its own. So watching it, I'm going, that shit's legal. He's got one hand on the floor, he's got one or two fingers on the floor. Arnold's forcing him to lift them up as he's driving the knees into the side of his head. After the fact, it came out in Toronto, they actually run by an old rule set. So it's not the two hands or one knee on the floor or anything that counts as a fighter being on the floor. It's any contact with the hands on the floor. So this also goes back to the rule set within MMA in some of these states, provinces, or countries. They need to have this unified version of rules. It can't be, you're going to go off these old rules when we're here in 2024 now. You know what I mean? Come on, get everybody caught up to speed, get everybody on the same page and make it as fair as possible. That's what the whole thing is about, is making everything as fair as possible, putting 2 men or 2 women in this cage and letting them fight it out to the death. You know what I mean? So yeah, the rule set needs to be unified across every single athletic board, commission, province, state, country, whatever it is. It needs to be sorted out right across, because like you say, anywhere else that fight happened against any other fighter, that fight was Arnold's. He was robbed as far as it went in my eyes.
That's true.
It wasn't a great night for the Canadians, shall I say. A bunch of them lost on that card. I'm going to come to Jordan, Chris Curtis, and Mike Andre Barrio. Like the way Chris Curtis got that one over him again. It's a close fight, but it looked more busy. It looked the more dangerous fighter. The more, the more it looked like he wanted it more. But what was your whole take, especially like a lot of the Canadians like Jordain, even he lost. But I'm going to come back to that actually, because there was something that happened with that one. But let's stick with Chris Curtis and Marc-Andre Barrio. Well, that being close. What's next for both of them as well? Please. Take it away.
Yeah, it was another one that's got a strange fight. I'm sure everyone was expecting sort of an all-out brawl from start to finish, but I think it was like it went through ebbs and flows of them stepping on the gas and then off again. The fight just sort of kept going up and down. Eventually, it was Chris Curtis that managed to put the most pressure, but I don't think it was one of his better performances. Probably just edged it, but yeah, that was one of the fights I was looking forward to most. And yeah, it just felt like it had trouble sticking to a sort of good pace.
Yeah. Well, so what do you think is next for, especially like a Marc-Andre Barrios? Where does he go next? Because it's kind of hard. He had one good performance just before the fight before. The fighter that they gave him, he took that on short notice. This guy came out of nowhere and gave him hell. He just about won that fight by the skin of his teeth. What should they be looking to do with him?
Probably hovering around the same spot. I guess Chris Curtis goes up by sort of mandatory. Yeah, I wouldn't actually mind seeing Chris Curtis near Ian Gary next. If he gets through Chris Curtis, he can get to Strickland.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not a bad shout. That's not a bad shout at all. ChiChi, I'm gonna come to you with this one. Neil Magny was getting his ass whooped. I don't know what happened. The fight gods, the fight gods, they just it's almost like they put a Duracell in Neil Magny. I said, Neil Magny, take this guy down and whoop his ass. Talk to me what you thought about that fight and how Neil Magny turned it around.
We've seen this happen a few times, right? Like, was it 2022 when we saw Israel Adesanya and Kamaru Usman suffer the same fate where they were like winning and then things just went up in the air at the last minute type of vibe. But oh my word, I was so sad. I was so sad when I saw that. Actually, I was like, oh no, because he literally had it in the bag. It was like Arnold was winning that. He was taking it. He was going with it, and then Neil just decided to have the power installed within him. So I guess it just happens, but I feel like he will be able to bounce back from it. That Arnold Allen, that is, I think he will be able to bounce back from it because like I just said, it is one of the things where he was winning the fight, so it's not like he was just getting mauled the entire fight. So yeah, I think he'll definitely bounce back, but it was a bit shameful to see, especially because he was probably Canada's last hope on that card. So
oh yeah, he was. Definitely.
Yeah, I'm looking for Malo, man. I'm looking for Malo on that fight. He like you said, yeah, it's probably Canada's last hope because it was the last Canadian fighting on the card against Neil Magny. So it was crazy. It was crazy. The whole card was kind of like you get mixed energy from the card. But the one that I want to ask you, whether you've been in this situation before, you've seen it before, Big Shad. Let me ask you this. Charles Jordain and who was his opponent, Sean Woodson, right? Bruce Buffer goes to announce the winner. He calls Charles first, then said Sean Woodson after he called Charles. But the ref already gone up and put Charles's hand up and then had to bring it back down to never seen something like that before. And if that happened to you after a fight that you probably thinking, oh, maybe I won this because again that was another close one. What's your take on that situation there?
Look, it's especially in that level, it's unacceptable. We can't accept it because it's Bruce Buffer we're talking about.
We're talking about Bruce here, man. This is Bruce.
Talking about Bruce.
No wrong in my eyes.
We're talking about Bruce. I understand. So, but in the end of the day, you gotta look at it in this way. We're humans. We make mistakes. I can't say Bruce was nervous, but it's something that happens. It's like I don't know. There was an incident that happened as well where I think I'm not sure if it happened here in the EFC, where then something about an announcement with Khoto as well that kind of went, it had to be fixed in a way. So it does happen where an error happened, but in a fighter's perspective, it's a bit bad because you got your hand raised already. You're happy. You're like, yes, I won. I'm winning the fight. Yeah, and then all of a sudden they're dropping your hands and lifting the other high. It's playing around with your brain a little bit. There, you're confused. You're like, what's happening. So there's not much you can do in that situation except for you as a fighter accepting that the error has been made. I lost the fight and there's no robbery there. But from obviously the official
Oh,
I lost them.
Still there?
it's
All right.
unprofessional there. It looked really unprofessional. Yeah.
It reminded, just to jump in, it reminded me of Tyrone Woodley and was it Wonder Boy? When did that go down as a draw or something? Yeah, it was a draw, wasn't it? That
Yeah,
kind
it
of
was a
went
draw,
down
yeah.
as, and Tyrone thought he was about to have his
What
belt
draw,
taken
I
off him,
believe?
and he was holding on to that shit like, no.
yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff that happened on that card. Like I said, some good moments, some stuff that you're gonna look back and say, oh my god, I can't even believe that happened. A lot of people are calling for Strickland rematch. I wouldn't, under normal circumstances, I probably would have, said yes because of the result and how close the result was, being a split decision. You always want to try and run it back and see if there's a clear winner. And maybe down the line is something that they're going to look at. But I want to finish on this one here with you, ChiChi, because this is more your wheelhouse. We heard The Rock joining with TKO production, obviously UFC and WWE, and we know how passionate The Rock is with combat sports, with mixed martial arts, and what he done for WWE over the years, with his career before he went on into being a big movie star. But right now, his involvement in mixed martial arts is prominent for everyone to see. We see what he did for Matt. Shout out to Temba Gorimbo. Man like Temba Gorimbo. We see what he did for him, and he likes that underdog story. Dwayne Johnson. But what's your take on him? Joining that board of directors now and probably taking stuff to the next level. We heard about their new deal with Netflix as well. If you want to talk about that.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So, I'm a major wrestling fan. Like before, I'm an MMA fan. I am a wrestling fan. I'm all about wrestling. So I feel like The Rock is the perfect person to be on that board of directors for TKO. And the reason why I say that is because TKO obviously consists of, WWE and UFC. And I feel like The Rock is one of those people who both sides of the field can actually relate to him and can actually connect with him. Because, anyone else, it might have been like, a bit shady. I know a lot of MMA fans don't like wrestling. I know some wrestling fans also don't like MMA, but The Rock might be the person who's able to bridge those two sports together under the one umbrella of TKO. So it's totally a great thing, and I feel like he's definitely going to have the athlete's best interest at heart. So I'm definitely here for that. And already, like, they made two big announcements. First of all, The Rock joining TKO, as well as WWE moving over to, well, Raw rather, moving over to Netflix, which is it was a very weird move, right? Like we're all like, oh, okay, damn, that's something that maybe some of us were not really expecting, because WWE Raw has been on cable television for the past 31 years or so, right?
Yeah,
They've
yeah, yeah.
been there, that's been their home the whole time. And now for the first time, they're actually going to move over to a streaming platform. So it's definitely showing that the WWE is serious when they're talking about how they want to move forward and they want to do new things and all of that. And we definitely seen them moving in the direction of trying new things. So it's definitely an exciting time, I think, in the wrestling industry. Not even just in WWE, just across the board. But WWE is obviously still trying to make sure that they remain number one, and they're moving ahead with TKO, which is also going to be number one of wrestling and MMA. And yeah, man, it's just totally great. I'm just ready for The Rock to be doing his thing there on the board of directors, along with the team that they're obviously going to have on there. So yeah, I think it's going to be great.
No, look, I think, like you said, it can only be good for both sports. Somebody that understands both sides and relatable to the fighters on the rosters as well. So we'll see what that. 'Cause I haven't been a wrestling fan since my sons grew out of it. You know what I mean? And I used to watch it back in the day. Rock was one of my favorite, wrestlers and entertainers from back then, which is why I follow a lot of his movies. But I haven't seen it. Maybe now it's on Netflix because I pay for Netflix, but I don't want to be paying for Netflix and WWE Network, so I cancelled that bitch. But now it's on Netflix. Maybe I'll see more of it.
It's
Maybe.
going to be interesting to see what they do. Like, is they going to be doing the pay-per-views on Netflix where you're now going to have to pay a little bit extra to actually go and view it? Because are they going to lose some of that promotional money? I mean, is the production going to remain the same if they're not seeing the same income from the pay-per-view, or are they kind of like Spotify? They're getting that Netflix dollar now, so it's actually still going to be absolutely booming, and they'll have the influx of cash coming from Netflix rather than the pay-per-views. It's an interesting move, as Leroy said there, into the live viewership market. It is a very interesting move for them to see what they're moving into. But it's the future, and that's where everyone's going, is streaming platforms. So you can see why they've got to make the business moves in the right direction.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on what's going on there. It's a $5 billion deal, so I'm expecting big deals. I want gold around the offers that they're going to give us customers, especially long-term customers like myself. I've been with Netflix forever. You know what I mean? Some of my kids were born from Netflix. God damn it.
I was ordering DVDs through the post for those motherfuckers. They better sort man out. You know what I mean?
They took me away from blockbusters, You know what I mean? Netflix stopped my going to blockbusters, man. So anybody that's old, well, none of you youngers might not know what blockbusters is.
I know what blockbusters is, bro. I was in there.
Blockbusters was the one. That's where you used to go and get all your videotapes and DVDs to watch. But them days are gone. It's all streaming live on the net now. Big Shad, what have you got coming up? Do you have any fight news? How's your training been going? I see you, man, putting in mad work in the gym. You guys are killing it over there. I salute to my boy Kevin Snakes, your partner as well. Doing all the great work over there. What's on the horizon, Shadrach?
So we at the moment we just had our focus around 3 amateurs that we getting ready to do the pro license next month. I think second week of February, and first week of February is grading for kids, and then grading for us, and then we're doing licenses, 3 pro licenses for the amateurs coming up. One of them is fighting on of March in the card. One of them should be fighting in April, and fingers crossed, Kevin should be fighting April as well. Fingers crossed for that. He's looking good. He's back in training. He's already pushing as well. He's wrestling. He's sparring, doing everything in it as well. We asked Graham and Ashley for obviously the plan for the year. Hopefully we can get it as soon as everything else is sorted. But I'm not sure about March for me. I can't say 100%. It's a 50-50 at the moment, but I'm keeping myself fit. I'm just making sure that I'm fit and ready. I would like to get a fight before July, because that will definitely put me in contendership for the title. Getting a fight now, winning a fight, and the biggest fight the fight that I want, and I really do want it, fingers crossed they give it to me, is Diego Bandu Tangaman. I get that fight, I'll be the happiest man alive right now.
Be the happiest man alive right now. That fight will be crazy. I think he's one of the most dangerous guys in your division, bro. That guy does not give a
Yeah.
fuck. And,
Plus, they're the
you're
same
calling him
vibe.
out?
So it
That's
means
yeah.
Oh my days.
Yeah. So yeah. The way for me, the way I played the year is look. I spoke to the coaching staff, spoke to the management, spoke to everybody else. I was like, look, because I was supposed to get Diego Bando in November last year. I didn't want to get into the details when I didn't get him. I just asked Graham what happened. He said, well, they couldn't get a hold of him. So I'm like, it's fine. We'll see this year. So I would like to obviously get my hands on Diego Bando and get that fight. And then after that, I think JP is fighting in April for the title. I would like to fight Luke Michael after that. Possibly because JP is retiring after that, so I would like to fight Luke Michael for the title because I'm sure Luke Michael should be still up there. Get after Luke Michael, then defending the title once or twice, and then asking for JC Lumpet by the end of the year because that's what I wanted. I want to end the year, closing the year with this. Yeah.
Big Shad just give us a roadmap to what the year looks like, and he's got Luke Michael, who's also a friend of the show, in his crosshairs, and yeah, we're gonna see. Hopefully, if that ever happens, I want to bring both of you down here so we can hear it out. You know what I mean? Give the audience what they want to hear from both of you, and hopefully, he's open to it, you're open to it, and we can put that shit together, man. If it comes to happen.
Why not?
100%.
Why not?
Yeah, man. I'll definitely be up for that, man. You know what I mean? We'll run a promo. We do all of that bullshit. You saw what we did. We helped Gifts and Terrence Balello with their promo. When the fight went down, both of them really good friends of the show, and they went on put on a good show for the people. So yeah, if that happens, hopefully it's something that we can do for you guys and get involved in it. Mark Dane, what do you got coming up, and where can the people find you, my brother?
So obviously on Friday I'm heading down to Newcastle for media work with Octagon 52. So I'm looking forward to doing that. My first show, yes. Going down and doing some media work with it. So heading down to the press conference on Friday, got the event on Saturday. So obviously get some nice cushy tickets to the cage, so I'll be able to sit and watch the fights and then get some interviews in there. I'm just sitting working on that at the moment, just coming up with some questions for the fighters, going through some of their career and just looking at what I can ask them. I'm also going in there with some fun ones too. You know what I mean? Like if you could have a superhero in your corner, who would it be? Just silly things, just for some clips and that. You know what I mean? Just to spice things up a little bit. Doesn't always need to be serious. Like yeah, what else have I got going on? So I've just lined up Daniel Strauss, obviously a Gracie Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, also does Cage Warriors play-by-play. He's coming onto the podcast on February the 4th. I was meant to have Reese McEwen, but he got caught in the storm that we had here a couple of days ago, flying from Glasgow to Wales. Somehow ended up in Paris. You know what I mean? Went right past the UK to Paris. The winds were that bad they couldn't land the plane.
The hurricane blew him all the way to Paris.
Yeah, man, that was it. He just went, whew, didn't even use any fuel. They were just going. You know what I mean? So I'll need to line that one back up. But yeah, plenty in the pipeline as interviews go. Obviously, stuff for you guys, and then hopefully just more media work if I enjoy it. Like I say, I'm going to dip my toes in. Hopefully, it's fun. I'll be streaming it on your platform, my platform, and yeah, check it out. And if you want to find me, you can get me on Instagram at The Rambling Dad, and on Twitter is just at McDane MMA, I think it is.
100%. Jordan, you also got your credentials going. You got something going on with PFL and Bellator. Please talk to us about that. Let the people know what you're coming up with.
Yeah, so on this channel here, Friday we've got Brad Wharton coming on. Another day this weekend, Sam Kelly, who's fighting at Cage Warriors Manchester. And then on Sunday, I believe it's the PFL champion versus champion press conference, which the Fight Week show are now credentialed for. So yeah,
man.
Hopefully get our foot in the door with PFL and see what we can get out of it.
Yeah, man. Everybody, salute to all of you. You man are doing great work with your channel, The Rambling Dad Podcast. Jordain is also
It's also the Rambling Dad's birthday on Sunday, folks. Just if anybody wants to send me any presents.
Yeah, happy birthday, man. Happy birthday. But
Cheers, brother.
You're gonna be getting a proper birthday greetings from me. Not birthday presents, birthday greetings.
I was hoping on one of them slick Fight Week show jumpers, man. I thought that'd be coming in the post.
They're on the website, man. They're on the website.
Use that birthday money and stop being tight.
Spend your birthday money on them, yeah? No. You're gonna get birthday greetings from me, man. Don't worry about that, my brother. Yeah, we love the work that you're doing on your channel. And you as well, Jordan, on Cage Scribe, what you're doing for the Fight Week show. Big love for all of that. And ChiChi, we know that you're working with Farside MMA. You got on your LinkedIn, on your Linktree accounts. Farsided MMA, No Smoke Sport, and The Last Word on Pro Wrestling. These are all these are all the work that you do as well. And big salute to you as well for all the work that you've been doing on there. We're gonna put your handle in our descriptions where people can find you on social media. And Jordan, any of you, man, you need an interview from Blambee. I'm sure Shadrach will oblige and let the man get some interview from you as well. You know what I mean? For the channel. Salute,
No
man.
problem.
Salute.
I'll drop you both a follow after this.
Cheers,
So.
bro.
Yeah, man. Big up.
All right,
All right, people.
Appreciate it.
It's been a fantastic show. I love having you guys on, and down the line we're going to bring you guys back to the channel or one of these segments where we're going to be breaking down the fights and talking about the landscape of the division and stuff like that, man. So hopefully down the line we can reach out to you and bring Blambee back and bring ChiChi back on the channel to break down some fights with us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely.
No worry.
Yeah, man. All
All
right. Okay, people. It's been the Fight Week show. Salute to everybody that stayed with us up until now. If you're watching on live, you're watching on replay, please hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button. Go and follow everybody that you see on the panel today. We're going to put in the description, the handles in the description. Go and give them a follow. Go and check out their work. Go and support their work as well. And up until the next video, people. Hasta la vista. We're out. Salute.
The Fight Week Show.
Hey guys, this is John Anik from the UFC. You're watching the Fight Week Show.